Hi everyone, it's Justin Murphy, director and producer of Dawgtown, and what you're seeing here is some animation from Yeardley Wells, excellent animation of Lenny, one of the supporting characters in the movie, voiced by yours truly. You'll see the cleanup here, and I'm going to take you through the process of how I ink, paint, and create backgrounds and composite the entire shot together. So you just saw the rough animation, the cleanup animation. Now I am inking over that animation. So what you do is you give the animator a character sheet, and they use the character sheet as a guideline to try to stay on model, basically drawing the character frame by frame to match the design on the character sheet. And most of the animators, they do a great job matching it. But when you go to ink it, that's your chance to refine things that need refining. So little stylistic things like just cleaning up the lines and making it match the design even more. Sometimes I'll make little adjustments here and there. Since they're my designs, I know how I want them to look, so I go in and I make those adjustments. So I'm making those adjustments right now, and you're seeing a time-lapse inking. It's about 15 times faster than what actually how long it actually takes. But I don't think you want to be sitting here for 4 hours or however long this shot took. So what this is going to do is it's going to give you an idea of the amount of work that goes into animation. Now, with everything happening in the world right now and all the shutdowns, especially with regards to Hollywood and live action, TV production, film production, it's all shut down for the most part. Animation just keeps rolling on. It's a pandemic-proof medium. So we're not stopping. We're moving ahead and continuing to work on shots and scenes. Many of my animators are still working right now as we speak. And okay, so now I'm in the painting phase. So you saw the inking, and here is going frame by frame using the colors from the model sheet. And generally with ink and paint, you do one pass of one color throughout the whole shot, and then you go back and you pick another color and do another pass. And you do that until the figure is colored in its entirety throughout the shot. I'm coloring the tongue there. And you see him moving and he's talking. This was a lip sync animation, so it had to match my voice when I did the voiceover. The animator had to match the timing of the words. Voiceovers, most of the time, the acting, the voiceover is recorded first, and then the animation is animated to time to the actor. That gives the actor the freedom to interpret the lines the way they want, and then the animator adds the visual and takes its, animators take their cue from the actor and what the actor's saying and doing. Now I'm putting shadows. You don't always have to do shadows, but it adds a lot, especially when you're dealing with flat 2D hand-drawn animation. You don't have the benefit of gradients and things like that as much with like with CG, with all the high-tech rendering and everything, because it's a illustrated medium, flat colors and things like that. So just adding a little bit of shadow or highlight does a lot to help create some more dimension. And I'm clicking back and forth frame to frame to make sure that the shadow lines up. Even though he's moving in the light, you still need to make sure the shadow is somewhat consistent so it doesn't wobble. It can create a wiggle, sort of wobbling effect if you're not precise. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be close, and it needs to follow the form. You can see how the line is following the form of his face and how his face is shaped. Now I'm working on the background for the shot, so I'll take my layout from a rough storyboard and then go in and draw a more detailed, final rendered version shot by shot. And this is, once again, this is about 15 or 20 times faster than how long it actually took. Drawing chain link is very time consuming. So I'm drawing all the chain link on the the kennels here. This is kind of an old rundown shelter. And then once the line art is complete, then I will use color reference usually from another shot in the same scene, because you want consistency of color. So I'll bring up another wide shot in that scene and pull from the color in that shot for this close-up. This is basically a zoomed in shot of the kennel that you see there to the right in the other background. Now you could ask, well, why don't you just zoom in on the image to the right? Just zoom in and use that. Well, because when you zoom in, unless you painted it that large to begin with, it will lose resolution. So you have to draw it again at the correct resolution so it doesn't look fuzzy. And just copy this. There's this mat he lays on. I'm just going to copy that and paste it over in the background rather than draw a new one. You just cut and paste. Benefit of digital, you'll see right there, just cut and pasted it. Now these are on separate layers. The gate is on a layer, and then everything else is on another layer. And that way I can put the dog, I can put Lenny between the gate and the actual pen or the kennel that he's sitting in. Adding shadows here. This is all done in Photoshop, by the way. TVPaint is a software I use for the animation, but Photoshop is my preferred software choice for painting the backgrounds. It has great brushes and been using it for years, so it's the fastest, most reliable way to paint backgrounds as far as I'm concerned. So now I'm adding the highlights, and you just have to pick your light source in a shot and be consistent. So if the light's coming from the right, it needs to hit the that's the same side of the character in the shot as the light is falling on the backgrounds and anything in the scene. And it's a loose style, and there you go. There's the background with Lenny, and then there's the gate, and now you'll see the final shot right here, and then with the voice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure.